I just want to caution you when you get to me, because there's a lot of questions about credits transferring popping up. So just to quickly address that, all of my credits transferred. Had I chosen a different major, I could have graduated in 2 years. But I could not even fathom if my 2 years at Ohio University were my only 2 years of college. That's scary. I feel like I need these 4 years because there's a lot of things that happen outside of academia as far as maturing and growing and developing and becoming your own person that happen in college while you're away. And that's not to say that you should graduate early if you can, but don't force that. If it happens that you need to take a third year or a fourth year, do it. Don't try to stuff your entire college experience, all of your education into those 2 years, because I think the largest benefit of early college is the maturity that you gain, is the experience that you gain, is the relationships that you gain, not necessarily just the credits. Don't be so credit-minded, credit-focused, because there's a lot out there that you should experience, and that will help you in the long run.
To ensure though that you're calling for credits to transfer, every single high school or we have you're able to like contact your professor, make sure you keep everyone re-solidified. There's a class that they want to do this week last semester. They'll kind of different names than they'll here. And I just have a syllabus next to it to the registrar's office and count those items. And they can like add it to my credits. But
not a fight if they don't want to accept your credit, but you know that your class already fulfills the credits, because I had to fight for some of my English courses to transfer. And yeah, just fight for that, because that's money wasted. You're going to have to pay for that course that you've already taken, and you're going to sit in class really bored, you've already done all it. It's also kind of a waste of your time in high school.
In addition to that, as far as like fighting for stuff, fight for your credits. I did the same thing. I had sent a couple of extra emails to ask about that. But also for those of you going to private universities, this is less so in public, but in private schools, I personally did a little bit of negotiating as far as how much scholarship money I was going to be getting. So just a simple letter that I wrote to them ended up me getting $2,500 extra a semester. So that's just reach out, ask for it. They can't, if they tell you no, it's the worst thing that they can say to you, but especially at private institutions where they're setting price levels themselves, definitely send letters about that environment.
and I couldn't listen to that as well. They wanted me to, they sent me an email saying I needed to pay $2,000 or something. And I simply went to the financial aid department and literally was like, what's your name? Just how many credits do you have? Whatever. Okay, we have to be here. Come back next semester, we need more. Literally do that. So, yes, resources are there.
Do you guys take the
Sorry.
Mine goes back to what you were telling me about the ACT scores. I just wanted to know, how do schools who base their acceptance and scholarship money basically just on ACT scores, SAT scores, and GPA, how do they differentiate one student from another when a lot of students have similar scores with a first come, first served basis, or how do they do that?
So, it always depends on the school, a lot of variances, but in general, they use what they call a data regression model, which basically takes all the information about the student and flips it over and puts it into the system, the general of it. And so, if you are getting the same scores, they're going to get the same scholarship amount. If there's things that set you apart, say you're involved in certain organizations or you have something standing out, that sometimes is going to be where you're going to get more.
We had a couple of instances where we had students that were actually told, that happens to be one of them, that if he retakes the ACT and he gets one more point, that they were going to give him more money. That was a communication from the school, right, Matt, to you? That was Mrs.
Well, see, my issue was I was trying to get into the University of Akron College, and I had a 26, and their requirement was a 27, so the $38 I paid to take the ACT the third time paid off because I got my 27, and an extra, I believe, $2,000 a year in scholarships just from that $40 I spent taking it again.
So some schools, when Mr. Bruner and I went to Youngstown State, Jim Tressel was very forthcoming in telling us what scores and how much, and how much that would mean. So don't know if you can find out all that information on your own or whatever, but what I do know is keep taking it until you're sick of taking it. Because every single point, it's a no-lose situation, because if you do well in certain parts and you get a school that blends, you're going to do nothing but go up. So maybe you lose the $38 or whatever Matt was talking about, but other than that, it's a no-lose situation because it can only get better, it's not going to get worse. And if you know that every point means more dollars to you, then that's a great way to go about, cutting your costs for college.
When we took our 4 kids around when we were looking years and years ago, we went to Duke, and the woman at Duke, the one thing that she said to us is the only piece of advice we can give you is to take your ACT as many times as you can afford it. We know that sounds crazy, but if you can, take it as many times as you can. So my kids, I think one of our daughters took it 5, 6 times, and Lexi came home and said, Mom, I swear to God, I've seen the questions before. And she smoked it, and she got into it. So I don't know if that's really the right or wrong answer, but it worked for my children because they did. It was, it was expensive at the time even, but it blessed them and it helped them, and they got the process down. They had seen the questions before, and it was very beneficial. So
We had, you were here.
Did any of you take Syllabi to your orientation? No. Why?
You probably won't have a face-to-face thing at your orientation. You're in a room with all.
Wait, so I'm scheduled by yourself?
Oh, we schedule on.
I think they do, because I have a few that are trying to advisor yet. They say I'll meet my advisor. So should I take my Syllabi? No.
Can't hurt.
Take a list of relevant classes, and then if they want to see your syllabi, then send it to them afterwards.
We have a couple of questions here. Roommates, how you got a roommate, like they had trouble with that, so it's
I didn't have a roommate, thank goodness. I hate dorms. Just that way.
I stayed in a dorm every year now. My freshman year, I was 1 of 4. This past semester, I was 1 of 5. When you get that many people together, you're gonna butt heads. We had issues. Luckily, there were some people in our room that like to talk about how they had issues. So we weren't all just angry at each other all the time, but not saying anything. So lots of times we would get out in the open, we'd just be sitting in the kitchen or whatever, and they'd bring it up and we'd hash it out right then and there. So you kind of have to accept that you're in reality not going to love all of your roommates if you do have them. If you're lucky enough to not have them, that's great. But don't let it simmer, because you're supposed to enjoy college. But also, I mean, pick your battles if you have issues with your roommate. Personally, I'm not, it doesn't bother me if people come back late from parties or if they're playing all music or stuff like that, because I can just ignore it if I'm in the room. Because they also have the right to enjoy college as much as you do, but if it's getting in the way of your sleep and you're being reasonable and they're not respecting you, then I would bring it up. But pick your battles. Um, yeah.
I have had a couple of roommate experiences. My first one was truly so horrible that I won't describe to you some of the stuff that I had to deal with in my room my first semester of freshman year. But how I dealt with that was just, and this is how you deal with a lot of situations when it comes to college, just being very direct with him, with my roommate, and then also, and this has happened with quite a few people that I know, if it gets to a certain point where it's like really, really bad, and you can prove that it's really, really bad, the school will move you. You are not bound to that person, to that room, whatever. I got moved halfway through the year because of how bad my situation was. And my second roommate was someone I knew really well, really great friend of mine, and ended up being an awesome experience. So I would say that a lot of schools now have this thing where you fill out your interests, and then they'll match you with someone who answered similarly with interests as far as like for random room assignment. But if you can find someone that you want to live with, I would highly recommend it. As of right now, I live in a fraternity house, so I live with 30 other people, 35 other people. And that is honestly, it's been like the best experience that I've had so far as living goes. I live with one of my best friends, and it's, I don't know, it's really unique. So we talked earlier a little bit about like, you know, spending the 4 years in school because there's other stuff that happens in the real world, and in school you get to enjoy stuff. As far as that is concerned, I live with like 30 guys that I'm like super, super close with. And a lot of people would choose to live in dorms or like apartments because it's kind of cheaper in certain cases. But I would say find someone that you, as school goes on, don't stick with the random thing. Find people you like, and then live with them. And if you have problems, be really direct about it.
I just want to add that when I first year at Ohio State, I did a random roommate, and we clashed heads basically from the first day. It eventually got so bad, she eventually moved out down the hall. But what got me through it is that I made a bunch of good friends that lived on our floor that weren't just roommates. And we spent a lot of time in our common room, we talked to each other about our differences, about what we liked, and that really got me through it. So make friends on your floor, not just your roommate.
I just want to say really quick, I'm not a people person. I have very short fuse, especially when I'm tired. And so the thing that kind of helped me is being very honest on those surveys that people send out, because you'll be like, well, at least I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to go to bed by like 10 in college, right? Did not happen. And then so when I studied abroad semester, I was very honest on the survey thing. But my roommate, like, because you got a chance to pick, she did not read it. So she did not know that I stayed up till 3 a.m. when she went to bed at 10. It was be very honest and read the things and be upfront, especially if you're not a people person.
Oh, I have something to add to that. I know for a lot of out-of-state students, your college will actually make certain pages for you on social media. They're private pages, and to get accepted, you have to show like your acceptance letter. And that freshman week, I guess they have usually like around this time, so you can meet the people that you conversated on there, and then you can decide if you want to be roommates with them. So.
Yeah. Also, if you hit it off with someone at like the orientations that you go to, that's a way to do it. But you're right. There's a lot of ways to put in contact. I know Caleb spent like gets on and chats with kids. I didn't do that. Any other microphone questions?
Yes, I have. Which one of you guys go to college out of state? I know it's one of the two ones. Okay, what would you recommend about looking into out of state colleges? Because one of the ones I want to go to is in Washington, but I know that it will probably cost me more money to go out of state than in state, but I'd rather go out of state. So what would you recommend?
So for me, personally, if you really, really want to go there, I think that and I talked about this in the last panel, that there is an acceptable amount of debt you can go into for the experience that you're going to get. If you believe that that school in Washington is going to give you, you're going to have the absolute time of your life there, you've visited there, you've met some people there, you can see that there's a lot of good coming out, but you have to take on an extra 20, 30,000 by the end of the year in debt. Just if it's less than that even, if it's gonna give you a better job, a better experience, like a better, like looking back on life, just a better overall view of that, then take that opportunity. That's what I did. That's my personal experience. But that's what I like with Caleb, and he bringing him up. But he was worried about going out of state to New York to study, and I just told him, just go. It's your dream school. It's what you want, and that's what we do.
Yeah, I would agree with what EJ said, because there are a lot of factors that go into picking your university. I mean, if you don't know what you want to do with your life and you don't see it, then I would say kind of stay close or stay somewhere where it, it'll be a little easier for you to go. But for instance, I knew I wanted to study abroad. I knew the major I wanted. I knew what kind of extracurricular activities I wanted to be involved in. And so it made sense for me to go to where I go, because those are all things that are a big part of what the university is and the impact that the university wants to have on their community and in the larger communities that they're a part of. But I mean, because academics are good, those are good things to look at, but you're also going to be living there. And so you want to make sure that you can live wherever you're going to school, because otherwise you're going to be miserable.
Just adding on to what Megan said, I go and stay to Ohio State, but you have to visit the college before you accept there. You can't judge based on pictures on the website because it looks beautiful, all of them do. You don't know how big it is, how little it is, what the buildings are like. You have to visit before you go.
Yeah, I didn't do that, so definitely do that, guys. No, I was lucky that I love Baldwin Wallace. No, not I do, but I know lots of people who did what I did, and they regret it dearly. So definitely visit school, and also about the whole cost thing, getting out to Washington. So I don't know how to say it, she does, and I'm around for all the conversation. It is a considerable amount of money, especially if you're going to fly, because United States travel is not cheap. But like what EJ said, I listen to her stories, I listen to people at my school who come from out of state, and they wouldn't trade it for the world. So if you can do it, and if you're like, maybe you're pinching pennies for a little bit once you get to college, but especially if you even just work those 10 hours or whatever, if you're comfortable with that, probably your second semester, freshman year. I don't really recommend doing it in your first semester, but whatever. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing if when you get to the school and you're in love with it, it's worth the I don't know how much my day is on, but yeah.
Also, I would encourage you to think about why it is that you want to go out of state. If it's because you want to change the scenery, then probably don't go out of state. Maybe just, I don't know, come to OU. But if you have thought and processed and you know that going out of state is best for you and is best for your career, is best for your future, whatever, then those are just the kind of things that you have to weigh in and think about.
When Mr. Bruner and I visited Ira and Alec, you can attest to this. Ira was about an hour and 20 minutes from here. It's like being 1,000 miles away, in my opinion. I even thought that about Mount Union when I went with Daniel and Sade. Some of these campuses, Cleveland State is like being in another country, as far as I'm concerned. It's not the same as being right here, and if you want to get away, because you think the furthest distance, don't look at it that way. That's number one. Number two, if you said to me, I want an engineering degree, you have one of the best engineering schools in the country is right here in Akron, and that is Akron University. And so that's got to be a high consideration too. Where you what? Now, a lot of companies, certain companies, depending on where they're located. For instance, Timken does a lot of recruiting from Akron and from Kent. Goodyear does a lot of recruiting from Ohio University and Akron and Kent. So there are certain, Smuckers is locally, so Smuckers will do Ohio University, Miami of Ohio, Ohio State,
Akron.
Akron. So regional companies will do a lot. I know when I was in Kraft, the head of marketing graduated from Duke. So guess where most of the recruiting was from. So there are some variables that you never know at this age in what you're going to do. But I would let it be led by your major and the good researching, like Mrs. Myers pointed out, the good schools that are and the expense, and have those at the top of the list rather than probably as far as you want to go. And don't get me wrong, having fun and enjoying the experience is probably not in the top two, you know, in my mind. But you got to decide.
I would agree. That's kind of what I meant by that, is that if it's just distance, if you're just looking at distance, stop doing that. Don't do that. But if it's going to actually benefit you in a major way, then absolutely. So really quick, I just sent 2 polls out to that website that I had you guys go to at the beginning, that SLI.do. If you guys could answer that, answer both of those really quick for me. And then also, one of the questions, what it says is, which I find helpful to be able to contact the panel members following the panel. So I know that there's sometimes questions that you think of later, crap, I should have asked that. So I'm going to be collecting information from these guys about just like phone numbers, Twitters, Instagrams, stuff like that, like ways you can reach us, emails. And then if you guys think of any questions, we're going to send that out. And then you guys will be able to contact us at any time. And you know our backgrounds, you know like the specifics of like what our experiences are. So you can go ahead and just send questions to us that way too. Maybe I've never used this website before, so maybe it didn't. It says there's no polls. Oh wait. I don't know if I did it. Oh, activate. Oh, now it's up. I did it now. I did it now. I did it now. Okay. So I don't know if we have any other questions before we close it up.
I honestly did. I wanted to say something based on the last alumni panel we had. A lot of the questions, some of the questions that the students have were maybe for how do you have a social life or like a successful social life while you're in college. You know, things that you do's and don'ts or things that you shouldn't get involved with, and how do you handle party life and those people that like to party and you have to study, those type of. Did somebody answer that and help?
Oh, so you just want to.
Yeah, go down.
Okay, so work really hard during the week, or know when you're going to work really hard if you want to have a social life. I know some people who can finish up all of their stuff by like 7, 8 o'clock every night, so they just have time for the rest of the night. For me personally, a lot of my social life is the extracurricular stuff I do. So I do like plays, I do a lot of like, I'm on student government, I do like marketing, team management, stuff like that. And my fraternity, that's a lot of my social life anyway. Then if you don't want to have to do work on the weekends, do it all before the weekend starts.
I agree. A lot of my social life, some of the organizations I was involved in, and then like I became a good friend with those people. So like even like getting together in those study groups, like that's going to sound like much of a social life, but like study groups are really effective. I know Kelly was going to say something about that. And then like study as a group, we were getting information better. I'm done most of the time with all of my work by Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday when I'm not working, then we just do whatever. But,
I put the second question out there, by the way, so people can keep answering this back.
I did notice one question that said, did you miss many parties? And in my personal experience, I stopped going to parties after around Halloween time when someone smashed a pumpkin on my car. Not worth it. And I have a lot more important things to do. I bigger priorities than partying, so I'd rather be successful and, get my work done. And be ahead of the game than stay up all night and drink and party and stuff. So it's just a personal preference, I guess.
It is a personal preference. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where most people I met were for extracurricular. I know people in my major kind of well enough that we study together and I'm not sitting in class not knowing anyone around me. But the people who I really talk to, I really hang out with, they all came from groups I'm involved with or extra things I went to go see or do or what have you. And I'm not one of those people that finishes all my work by Friday, because I would much rather, because I wake up at like 9 anyway on Saturday and Sunday, so I'd much rather just do that in the morning than spend all my time Monday through Friday stressing out about trying to get stuff done so that I can just chill on the weekend. But it really is, it's a personal preference. If you want to go to parties, I mean, be safe when you go to parties. Go with a buddy. Have a DD, or just walk. If you have a small campus, just walk into your car. You don't need to. It's like 15 minutes away. Yeah.
Okay, so I work in the Office of Community Standards and Student Responsibility at Ohio University. And we have, a slightly higher rate of alcohol use than other comparable universities. But, so I see the kids that get in trouble. And I'm not saying, go out there and party and drink and, do things that you're not supposed to. But people who come through the office, people who get in trouble are the people who are doing like outrageous things. The people who are climbing lamp poles and throwing the top of the lamp through another window. Read that case just before and the semester that was fun. So just be smart, use your brains, don't do anything that, I honestly don't know how to say this other than don't do anything that you shouldn't. When you're out there, do whatever it is that you do, just be careful, use your brain, don't do anything that's going to put you in a compromising position, or also don't trust yourself too much. Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to constantly refuse alcohol or constantly refuse drugs or constantly combat, the circumstances and the surroundings. Put yourself in situations where it's easier to make the right choice.
Kind of what everybody else has said. Also, remember that, when you think of social life, don't just think of parties. If you go to a school that's really big in sports, I kind of go to the opposite of a sports school, but I'm friends with a lot of people who like sports. Also, remember that you kind of have to manage that time. So like every Thursday night, I'm watching a Rangers game. You cannot do homework while you're watching hockey. It's not possible. So you can while watching baseball. So if you're a huge baseball fan, you're good. If you're a hockey fan, something's happening every second.
I'm offended.
So just kind of remember those other parts of your social life that you do have to factor in for. Also, if you're going out and you're partying in the, I guess, traditional sense of it, just make sure you're smart, drink water, eat food, don't accept drink from strangers, and always go with someone. It's better that way.
As far as social lives go, get involved with as much as you can. Find an organization that fits you. I know Ohio State has involvement fairs twice a year. Find Arthur College has involvement fairs and go to them. Pick up pamphlets, even if you're not that interested, you can always look them over later. Just find something that fits for you, and then plan ahead. If you know there's a football game on Saturday, plan to get your work done by Friday. If you know there's not a football game, you can be lenient and do it on Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
I also want to say something. Somebody asked a question about are prestigious schools worth it? It really depends on what you want to do with your life. And I just want to get this out there because I go to a school with a really high price tag, and there are people that are going there and they're getting like degrees in English, which you can get really good degrees in English from other universities. And so it really depends on what you want to do. If you're going to a school in Manhattan with an English degree because you want to go into publishing, that's a great place to go and get an English degree. If you know you want to be a nurse and you want to stay in this area, I mean, Kent State Stark has one of the best programs, and you can get hired straight out of it going there, as opposed to going to like Case Western or something, where you'll probably still get hired, but you would be in more debt. So it really depends on what you want to do